Ever get so lost in something, so lost in a task that time just vanishes?
Yeah.
It's like you're in your own world, completely absorbed.
Yeah.
That's the power of the flow state.
Right.
And that's what we're diving into in this deep dive.
Okay.
We're going way beyond just defining it, though.
All right.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty,
Okay.
how to tap into this for yourself.
Cool.
We've got some fascinating research from psychology, even a touch of mythology.
Oh, wow.
All to help you unlock your own potential for flow.
It's a lot more than just a cool feeling, by the way.
I bet.
Flow is being linked to enhanced creativity,
Oh, really?
productivity, even happiness.
Wow. So,
Yeah, it's definitely worth exploring.
yeah, definitely worth exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we got to give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi,
Sorry.
he's the one who put flow on the map.
Yeah.
His research on these optimal experiences. It's kind of our starting point.
Right. He described flow as this total immersion, complete focus,
Yeah.
where things just click and
Yeah.
time just melts away.
Yeah.
Think of a basketball player in the zone.
Okay.
Every move is instinctual.
Yeah.
They're completely present in the game.
Right.
It's not about forcing it.
Right.
It's about this effortless, almost automatic state.
It's funny because you see it in so many different areas.
Yeah.
Like you think about a chef in a packed kitchen, coordinating all those orders.
Yeah.
Or a musician just lost in the music.
Uh-huh.
The hours just fly by.
Those are spot-on examples.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating is flow isn't just random luck.
Right.
Csikszentmihalyi, he actually mapped this out,
Okay.
showing that it relies on a very specific balance of challenge and skill.
Interesting.
If a task is too easy,
Yeah.
you get bored.
Right.
Too hard.
Yeah.
You get anxious.
Makes sense.
Flow happens right in between.
So it's like that tightrope walker,
Yes.
finding that balance, that sweet spot.
That sweet spot, exactly.
But I think it's easy to confuse flow with other things,
Yeah.
like hyperfocus or even multitasking, which, let's be honest,
Right.
rarely ever effective.
You're right. Those are definitely imposters.
Yeah,
Hyperfocus, it might look like flow from the outside,
I can see that.
but it often feels more compulsive,
Okay.
like you're stuck in a loop.
Oh, okay.
It can be draining.
Yeah,
Flow, on the other hand,
Uh-huh.
leaves you energized.
interesting.
Mm.
And multitasking, I think we've all been guilty of that at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But the research is clear.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly switching between tasks
Yeah.
just fragments your attention.
It's the illusion of productivity.
Right.
You might feel busy,
Yeah,
but you're never truly engaging deeply with any one task.
that makes sense.
It's like trying to write a report while also answering emails
Oh, yeah.
and planning your grocery list.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
Totally. So what's actually going on in our brains when we hit that flow state?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, okay.
When you're in flow,
Mm-hmm.
the prefrontal cortex,
Oh, okay.
the part of your brain responsible for self-awareness and time perception,
Right.
it actually quiets down.
So that's why time disappears.
That's why time seems to disappear.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's different from, say, hyperfocus,
Mm-hmm.
where your brain exhibits tunnel vision.
Now, in our hyper-connected world,
Right.
with technology constantly vying for our attention,
Yeah.
it feels like achieving flow is tougher than ever.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Technology can also be used strategically
Oh,
to actually enhance flow,
so.
creating tech-free zones
Okay.
or using things like Pomodoro timers.
Mm-hmm.
These can be really helpful in managing those digital distractions.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, one of our sources actually used a really interesting metaphor for flow,
Oh, yeah.
something I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
The cobra.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Holy.
The cobra, with its poise,
Yeah.
its focused awareness,
Uh-huh.
it really embodies the essence of flow.
Okay.
And if you look at Indian mythology,
Yeah.
the cobra is a symbol of wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
transformation,
Okay.
balance qualities that are also central to the flow state.
It reminds me of how Lord Shiva is often depicted
Yeah.
with a cobra coiled around his neck.
Exactly.
It's like this image of being calm, focused, even amidst challenges.
And that shedding of skin, that transformation,
Right.
it's symbolic of the growth that comes from embracing new challenges,
Oh, I see.
pushing beyond your comfort zones,
Right.
which is what flow allows us to do.
It's incredible how these ancient symbols can offer such powerful insights
I know, right?
into these very contemporary experiences.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Not all of us are effortlessly slipping into flow states,
Right.
like some kind of modern-day Shiva.
Yeah, it's not always easy.
What about the rest of us? How do we actually cultivate this ability?
Well, there's a concept called the autotelic personality.
Okay.
Those who just seem to naturally gravitate towards flow experiences.
Got it.
And while it might sound like something you're either born with or not,
Right.
the truth is there are certain traits we could all develop to become more autotelic.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Give us the goods.
Right.
What are these traits?
Yeah.
And how do we actually cultivate them?
One key trait is curiosity.
Okay.
Autotelic people, they have this innate desire to explore, to learn, to understand.
Yeah.
It's not about external rewards.
Right.
It's about the joy of discovery.
So how do we cultivate that? I mean, some people might say they just aren't naturally curious.
It's about actively seeking out opportunities to learn something new.
Okay.
Even if it's outside your usual areas of interest.
Got it.
Take an online course, join a local workshop, or even just start reading about a topic you've always been curious about.
Right.
It's about feeding that spark.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Another key trait is resilience.
Okay.
Autotelic people. They see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth.
So it's about embracing the struggle.
Think of a rock climber
Yeah.
facing a difficult route.
Okay.
Each attempt, even if it doesn't lead to immediate success,
Right.
is a chance to learn, to adapt, to improve.
That makes sense.
It's about that growth mindset.
So how do we actually shift our mindset to see challenges that way? It's easy to say, harder to do.
It starts with reframing.
Okay.
Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, see them as feedback.
Right.
What can you learn from this? How can you adjust your approach?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's about that constant learning and adaptation.
And I imagine this ties into the whole intrinsic motivation piece, right?
Absolutely.
Finding joy in the process, not just the end result.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty core element of the autotelic personality.
Autotelic people, they're driven by the inherent satisfaction of the activity itself.
Right.
The process is the reward.
Okay.
Think of a musician jamming out, lost in the music.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not about performing for an audience.
Right.
It's about the pure joy of creating.
But for someone who's always been driven by external validation, like getting good grades or praise at work, how do you even begin to cultivate that kind of intrinsic motivation?
It's about finding activities that genuinely resonate with you.
Okay.
Things that light you up. Things that you do even if no one was watching or applauding.
Right.
Maybe it's painting, writing, hiking, volunteering, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It has to come from a place of genuine interest and passion.
So it's about tuning into those things that make you feel truly alive.
Exactly.
Those things you do just for the sheer joy of it.
And there are other traits that can help too.
Oh, okay.
Openness to experience is a big one.
Okay.
Autotelic people are willing to step outside their comfort zones, to try new things, to embrace the unknown.
Right, right.
That expands their horizons and opens up more opportunities for flow.
So it's about saying yes more, being willing to experiment, to explore different paths.
And it's also about letting go of that need for constant external validation.
Yeah.
Autotelic people, they're not as concerned with what others think.
Okay.
They're focused on the task at hand.
Right.
On the joy of the experience.
So less ego, more flow.
You could say that.
Okay.
And then there's persistence.
Okay.
Autotelic people, they don't give up easily.
Right.
They see obstacles as challenges to overcome, not reasons to quit.
Right.
They're in it for the long haul.
It's about that grit, that determination to keep going even when things get tough.
Exactly.
And the beautiful thing is all of these traits, they can be cultivated.
That's right.
It takes conscious effort, practice, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. But it's definitely possible.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're stuck with a certain personality type forever.
Nope. You can actually rewire yourself to be more flow prone.
You can.
That's pretty empowering.
It is.
And remember, mindfulness plays a huge role here too.
Absolutely.
Being present in the moment,
Yeah.
quieting those mental distractions.
Right.
That's essential for allowing flow to emerge.
Yeah.
So it's about training your mind to focus, to be fully present in whatever you're doing.
Yes.
No more checking your phone every 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
It's about creating those mental conditions that are conducive to flow.
Got it.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
There will be times when you fall out of flow,
Right.
when you get distracted, when you get frustrated.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Makes
The key is to keep practicing.
Right.
Keep experimenting, keep learning.
So how do we actually put all of this into practice?
Wow.
What are some concrete steps we can take to start cultivating these autotelic traits and inviting more flow into our lives?
One thing you can do is start incorporating more flow-inducing activities into your daily routine.
Okay.
Think about the things that make you feel truly engaged.
Yeah.
Things that you lose yourself in.
Right, right.
Maybe it's playing music, writing, gardening, playing a sport, whatever it is. Make time for it.
So schedule it in.
Yeah.
Make it a priority.
Exactly.
Don't let it get pushed aside by the demands of daily life.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Try new things. Explore different hobbies. Step outside your comfort zone. You might be surprised at what sparks your interest and triggers that flow state.
And remember, flow isn't just about leisure activities.
That's right.
It can show up in your work, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can find ways to align your work with your passions, with your strengths, that's where the magic really happens.
All right.
It's about finding that sweet spot where challenge meets skill and enjoyment.
So it's about finding purpose and meaning in your work.
Exactly.
Well, not just seeing it as a means to an end.
And it's also about creating the right environment for flow. Minimize distractions, set clear goals, break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Okay.
All of these things can help create the conditions for flow.
So it's about being intentional.
Precisely.
Setting yourself up for success.
And remember, flow is a skill.
Right.
And like any skill, it takes practice.
Yeah.
The more you practice, the better you'll get at recognizing the conditions that trigger flow.
Oh, okay.
And creating those conditions for yourself.
So it's about paying attention to those moments when you feel that sense of effortless focus.
Yeah.
That sense of timelessness. What were you doing? What was the environment like? What were your thoughts and feelings?
Exactly.
The more you understand those triggers, the better you can replicate them.
Absolutely.
And don't get discouraged if you don't achieve flow every time.
Right.
It's a process, and there will be ups and downs.
Of course.
The key is to keep experimenting.
Yep.
Keep learning. Keep seeking out those moments of pure magic.
It's all about the journey.
So it's about embracing the journey, the process of discovery.
Exactly.
And remember, flow isn't just about personal fulfillment.
Right.
It's about unlocking your potential, about doing your best work, about making a meaningful contribution to the world.
Exactly.
When you're in flow, you're not just working harder, you're working smarter.
You are.
You're tapping into a deeper level of creativity, insight, and innovation.
That's right.
And that benefits not just you, but everyone around you.
Absolutely.
So flow is contagious.
In a way, yes.
Interesting.
When you're in flow, you radiate a certain energy, a certain focus, a certain joy.
Yeah.
That can be infectious.
Wow.
It inspires others to step up their game.
Right.
To tap into their own potential.
So finding flow isn't just about self-improvement.
Yeah.
It's about making a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And who knows, maybe by cultivating more flow in our own lives, we can create a ripple effect that inspires others to do the same.
Right.
And that could lead to a more creative, more productive, and more joyful world for everyone.
Now that's a vision worth striving for.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
And remember, it all starts with you.
Okay.
What are you waiting for? Dive in, explore, experiment.
Yeah.
And discover the magic of flow.
All right. Sounds good. It really is amazing to think about how something as simple as finding flow can have such a ripple effect.
Right.
But I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about Csikszentmihalyi's Mahali's work.
Okay.
He posed this really intriguing question. What if, instead of chasing happiness directly, we focused on creating the conditions for flow?
It is.
It's almost like a paradigm shift
right.
in how we approach well-being.
It makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because happiness, it's not a destination.
Right.
It's not something you just arrive at and then you're done.
Right.
It's more like a byproduct, a result of living a life that's full of meaning, engagement, and purpose.
Yeah.
And those are all things that are fostered by flow.
So it's not about seeking happiness for happiness' sake.
Right.
It's about finding those activities, those experiences that bring us joy, that challenge us, that make us feel fully alive.
Exactly.
And when we're in those states, happiness naturally arises.
It's like that saying, happiness is a butterfly.
Okay.
If you chase it, it will always elude you.
Right.
But if you sit quietly and create the right conditions, it will land on your shoulder.
I love that.
And flow, I believe, is one of those key conditions.
I love that analogy. So as we wrap up this deep dive into flow, I want to challenge you, our listener, to think about your own life. What are those activities, those moments that make you feel truly engaged, where time seems to disappear, where you're completely immersed in the present moment?
Maybe it's painting, writing, playing music, having a deep conversation, solving a complex problem at work, or even just spending time in nature. Whatever it is, pay attention to those moments, those triggers. What are the common threads? What conditions allow those flow states to emerge?
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, explore different hobbies.
Exactly.
Step outside your comfort zone.
You might be surprised at where you find those pockets of flow.
Yeah, and remember, flow is a skill.
It is.
And like any skill, it takes practice.
That's right.
The more you practice, the better you'll get at recognizing those flow triggers and creating the conditions for flow to flourish in your life.
That's it for this deep dive on the flow state.
Well, this has been really insightful.
Yeah.
I think,
I hope you've gained some valuable insights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or practical tools to unlock your own potential for flow.
I think we all have.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Keep seeking those moments that make you feel truly alive.
Great advice.
Thanks.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.